Hey, my niggas throwing Z's up. If you rhyme me, then he's over, yeah. Every day I'm geeked up, I be round with that pole, nah. I'ma be on that weak stuff, man. You niggas be acting like hoes and shit. Feel like Langston Hughes, I hit the booth and spit that poetry, yeah. I be loading it, prowling on your home and shit. Then I'm rolling it, crawling when some gone and shit. I've been up all week, trying to get me a petite Philippe. The streets don't love me back, but I'm still in up the street. My heart is in the proudest. They tried to put me in the dress, I almost took the stylist. They tried to put me to the test, but me, I keep it solid. I'm ballin' like a Jane Harden, I bought a brand new rocket. I don't wanna be baller. When you see me, don't need holler. My nigga don't need much baller. When you see me, please don't holler. That girl got a skating partner. That pussy like pina colada. Don't bring the beats about you, nigga. They tryna knock you off your pay. Hey, my niggas throwing Z's up. If you rhyme me, then he's over, yeah. Every day I'm geeked up, I be round with that pole, yeah. I'ma be on that weak stuff, man. You niggas be acting like hoes and shit. Feel like Langston Hughes, I hit the booth and spit that poetry, yeah. I be loading it, prowling on your home and shit. Then I'm rolling it, crawling when some gone and shit. I've been up all week, trying to get me a petite Philippe. The streets don't love me back, but I'm still in up the streets. You look like she wanted free, in the more meat and greet. Fool and keep it posted, sweep a nigga up off the feet. Rocks all in my blue stick, rock a nigga like a blue stick. I'ma break your heart, little baby, I'm coming this way, don't listen to Cupid.
All right, good morning, friends. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the stream. Massive turnout today, as expected. We were joking about this in Paragon, I think yesterday, the day before, something, maybe even this morning, about how markets went down brutally last week and Sunday, and no one wants to tune in. No one's going to want to be around. No one's going to want to trade. If we're doing an actual sentiment check, like a real talk sentiment check, for me, this is the lowest sentiment I've seen since 2023. It's worse today than it was in the 2024 lows, right? During all that summer chop at 60Ks or whatever. It's worse than the tariff lows last year in April. This is bottom barrel stuff right now. Does that mean turbo bottom, up only, new all-time highs coming? I don't know. I don't think we could trade off sentiment purely like that. It's just a fun thing to pay attention to. The only ones that are left are the only ones IMO that have any shot of actually making money in the industry, changing their lives, being good traders, asset pickers, portfolio managers, whatever it may be, speculators, good to being early on chain. That's pretty much how I see it. I'm not going to go into the same song and dance that I always do during these moments. I just think it's fun to touch up on every single week. Just a little gut check to see how it's going. Everyone's a vibe coder nowadays. It would appear to be. Honestly, whoever jumped on the AI train, I have a couple friends that kind of jumped on the AI train pretty early, as early as like the end, what we would call like the end of the last crypto cycle. They were already talking about it back then. So GG's to anyone, that's been in those trades. Pivot to NVIDIA. There's been so much opportunity in markets globally, metals now, right? And you don't get that way by just complaining all the time. You get that way by being forward looking and planning and preparing for the next thing. So if you're sticking around in crypto, your mentality right now is like, okay, screw it. It's all cooked. Who cares? How do I get better for the next time that it's not cooked? What assets am I going to pick? What's my game plan? What are my entry plans? How am I going to fix the mistakes that I made the last cycle or maybe last year or whatever it may be, right? That's where your mindset's at. I know what my goals are. I know what the problems, or not problems, maybe the weaknesses in my trading are. I have a game plan to, improve on those things, and I've already seen pretty good improvement just to start off 2026. My mentality coming into this year has been just max fucking grind. This year, I want to make this year one of my best trading years ever. Last year, I want to say I coasted a little bit. I coasted off the high of 2023, 2024. I was purely a trader, not really did much in altcoins. Upped my level of trading quite a bit, and I'm looking to build on that in 2026, but with more of a determined mentality than 2025, right? That's where I'm sitting. I don't give a fuck if crypto goes to 60K or 130K this year, right? I would prefer down so I could buy Bitcoin. You guys know, if you guys have been stream watchers for the past year at least, you guys know that I've been sitting on cash, right? I haven't felt comfortable really deploying cash. It's just been sitting in the bank. And I would love cheap Bitcoin prices to stack BTCs, but we don't know if the market's going to be that courteous to give me those high time frame plans, or if we're going to continue chopping, or what things are going to look like. Being a predictor on like 6 months to 1 year time frame is extremely tough. That being said, you guys have been hearing me saying this since 107, right? That was my last time that I could make a bullish argument on the high time frame, was right here around 105, 106, 107. This is the last moment where I said, hey man, right? Like if we're still in a high time frame trending environment, we need to see it here, right? When we lost that, I said to you guys, I can no longer make a high time frame trending argument, right? At best case, I've shared this a lot publicly now. Hopefully, people have taken notice of this. When you lose any type of trend, whether it be a 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, weekly, daily, doesn't matter. Any trend that's carried you directionally for a time, and you lose that, your base case expectation is going to be chop, right? The second most valuable bet to make is reversal. So uptrends turn into downtrends, downtrends turn into uptrends. And the least likely is reclaim and continuation. So I think the least likely odds of occurring here, right, since we lost 104, 105, 106, right, whatever the weekly trend was going to be reclaim and continuation. The most likely was going to be chop, right? So when people were making a bunch of directional calls back in November, I was telling you guys multi-week, multi-month chop, right? Plenty of tweets on that, plenty of discussions on that. So that's what we've basically been doing. The next part of this is going to be figuring out, okay, are we ready to break down, or are we going to continue chopping, right? That's going to be basically what we're going to be talking about this stream, right? Is the range going to continue, or are we just ready? You know, we did our thing. We got our bearish retest of the weekly trend. Are we ready to break down? Are we going to hold these composite value area lows again, this 10-week comp? Are we going to hold these lows again, round off and go for all of these targets that we have? We have 4 CME gaps above. I haven't really shared my edge on the CME gap publicly, but since it's going away soon, I've been leaking a little bit here and there. I think the CME is going to go 24/7 outside of like a 1 hour, maybe maintenance gap window a week. I'm not fully up to date on what it's going to be, but in 2025, guys, this is an absurd stat. In 2025, every single CME gap was filled. That was like 300 gaps or something like that. They were all filled, right? Weekday gaps, weekend gaps, they were all filled. So we have 4 above us right now. Are we going to leave these behind and go down to 60K? Or are we going to come up and repair them, right? Are we going to come fill these gaps? Or we have another one this weekend that's only partially filled. We haven't fully filled this one either. It's going to be much easier to visualize right here on the CME chart itself, right? These are the things that we need to focus on as traders today, right? Is TLDR. Are we going to continue ranging in their 10-week composite value area, or are we ready to break down? And all of that argument is going to come towards, is positioning being rewarded at this lows? Are people going to come attack the lows? Are they going to sell into these lows, and are bidders going to be present to absorb some of that selling, or are bidders going to be extremely anemic, unable to absorb the supply, allowing for a breakdown? That is pretty much the base case. And I know we have some kind of fear-based events this week, maybe FOMC. There's probably some other stuff that's in the news that I'm not aware of because I'm not a macro guy. But FOMC being the main one, right? And one of the oldest kind of metas in the book when it comes to FOMC or macro trading, taught by the legend Huss himself in 2022 when I was on my come up years, was if you pump into a macro event and people are expecting a lot of bullishness, it ends up being sell the news, right? Like we've seen with news catalysts or anything like that. Hey, if Trump's getting to be president, we pump into that. ETFs are coming, we pump into that. That ends up being local tops. The opposite is true for negative events. We're expecting very bearish news. We may even get the bearish news, right? It ends up being a buy the news event. So I think markets are a little scared maybe this week, a little bit of Trump stuff, a little bit of general weakness in crypto in the first place. And I think if this week ends up being a nothing burger, it ends up being a buy the news opportunity, right? So let's take a look quickly at where we are. Just want to show you guys our basic 10 weeks of value that we've been building here, right? So we talked about it in November. Oh boy, this has been a while, right? Have you guys been comfy? 70 days of basically chopping between 95K and 85K, right? Not the biggest range in the world, but plenty of trade opportunities. I think anyone that's complaining in this needs to check themselves a little bit, because I think despite a lot of the BARTs and choppy sort of price action, you've had a lot of trade opportunities, right? Me personally, right, I ended up picking up spot in November, late November. I had a decent entry, not the best entry. It went underwater for sure. Ended up closing out or taking profits on some of that at 97K last week, right? We're coming down quite a bit. We're down 10%. Is this another compounding opportunity for me? Or are we about to break down from here, right? So that's kind of the layout for the discussion today. I'm going to stop there. I'll read chat and then we'll come back to it in a minute. Norlick says, Doc, stop being bulla. We are cooked. Hopefully, everything I said over the last 5 minutes explains my stance on the markets. I haven't been high time frame bull since November. In fact, I haven't really been crypto bull I haven't been bulled up, and I mean like bulled up on like the high time frame picture since like here, right? Down here, yes, I was long. Yes, I bought spot. We traded altcoins. We did okay for a lot of this, but I wasn't like the biggest bull of all time here as compared to this. This version of Doc right here was disgustingly bull-tarded. I will be honest, this leg caught me off guard. I didn't expect all-time highs coming out of the tariff bottom. I didn't think we were going to go to zero right here. I took the long literally off the Pico bottom. I was underwater. I longed like 80K, and that long got like disgustingly underwater. Added position size that I remember talking about that publicly too is like broke my rules of my trading. I got invalidated on a trade idea, and instead of cutting, I doubled down because I was very confident in the relative strength Bitcoin was showing against the indexes at this point. Indexes were just falling off a cliff, and Bitcoin was kind of just doing this. To me, that was relative strength in crypto markets, right? So it ended up being a banger trade. That's neither here nor there. I'm just trying to say that, pretty much this moment right here, I can't make a bullish high time frame argument. And for me, it's just been, buy the lows, sell the highs, right? Trade the chop, trade the range. Let's continue onwards, though. Good night, Nelly. Get some rest. Motherfucker's been grinding. Multi-cycle cockroach is checking in. Yes, sir. He said acid pickers. Oh, yeah. Acid. I don't know what I said. Please chart Rose and XVG. I am 100% going to forget. I'll write it on my charts here for a little bit later. Real bull run is in silver and gold. Facts. 2.7K gap. It was a massive one. Can you explain when you refer to composite value earlier, where is that composite started from, where the kind of end of the momentum was for the bears, right? So we were basically taking it from the weekly open on our capitulation week, right? And we've been bouncing between these two values. So I'm just anchoring it to the start of our range. Can you do XMR? Add it to the list. Why haven't you gotten into stocks? Because I can trade crypto just fine. That's going to come off very arrogant, for sure. I can hear myself saying that. It's going to come off arrogant, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? When I came into crypto or CT and this entire industry and a bunch of traders that I looked up to, I was very, what's the word? Rosy-eyed? I don't know how that phrase goes, right? Wide-eyed. I looked at everyone as a legend and a great trader and everything like that. And being here for 5 years now, like I know the work that I've put in over this 5 years. There's people out there, obviously, that are not public, they're not big names or anything like that, are doing fantastic. They're trading extremely well, but all this yap about crypto being trash and untradeable, like those people are not the people you want to be following right now. They're giving you terrible advice, right? Are you only supposed to trade things that are just, you're only supposed to trade crypto when it's really easy? Yeah, I guess so. But for me, this is like, yeah, maybe it's hard mode. Do you understand how easy this game becomes when it's easy mode if you train now? That's one thing. The other thing I'm going to say is I don't find crypto to be that hard. Guys, look at this look at this. Just look at this chart in front of you. What has changed? What has changed between this and 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 this? It's the same damn thing. This market has not changed at all. It's no harder, it's no easier, it's the same damn market. What people are complaining about are altcoins not going straight up in a straight line. And that hasn't been true since here. This was the real only altcoin rally that we had this cycle. We are multiple years removed from this, right? I think it'll happen again. I think we'll have another, mind-boggling, face ripper, pure entire crypto industry ripper again. It'll happen again, just like it's happened before and before and more. Are they going to be as good as the prior ones? Probably not. But I think you stick around, you get one of those. So when it's like people ask me, Doc, why have you not started trading stocks yet? I don't feel the need to. Nothing's changed for me. Right? Maybe I can trade, EMAs and trends again. When it comes to owning assets, right? I don't know every stock in the world. I know the Mag 7. I know the same stocks and companies that everyone knows, right? If I wanted to buy a coin or a stock right now, I think it would be Google, right? I feel like I'm most intrigued with buying Google. But then I say to myself, okay, I have X amount of capital. What do I think is going to happen? What do I think is going to be a better trade over 3 years? Do I think buying Google today over a 3-year horizon is better? Or do I think sitting on cash, buying Bitcoin at 60K and riding it to 180K is better? Do I think a 3X on Bitcoin there is better? Or do I think buying Google today for a 3X over 3 years is better? To me, and this is just my brain, I think Bitcoin's the better bet. Right? I could be terribly wrong and Google could go up like 9x and I look really dumb in hindsight, right? This could all be true. But with my limited knowledge and my understanding of markets, I think Bitcoin's going to be the better bet again. So instead of trying to min-max my capital and be like, okay, let me buy Google today, let me get like a little 30% here, I'm just chilling, right? I'm going to keep my game plan, the same game plan, and I'm just going to try to execute the best that I possibly can on my game plan versus throwing in multiple different ones and really conflating all my ideas. How many times have you guys been there? Let's just bring it to you. How many times have you guys said to yourself, I'm going to take X trade or I'm going to buy X asset, but it's like a week out or 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out. And in that time, you find yourself unable to just do nothing or prepare for that trade, and something else comes along and you end up taking a couple extra trades. And then the trade that you want hits, but you may be sitting in a different one. And then you ask yourself, do I close this one to open the other one? Do I just sit in this one now? All these ideas get conflated, right? So a big part of being a trader, asset allocator, whatever it may be, is your discipline. Your discipline and your patience can be the biggest edge for you as a trader. It doesn't always have to be X's and O's, EMAs and trends and this and that and price action and sweeps. It can just be discipline and patience, right? Now, time will tell how dumb or smart my idea looks, but that's my idea, right? Chart copper, please. Offer, you know how my streams go, boss. You know that I don't do chart requests till a little bit later, but we can keep the list running. We'll keep the list running. I stream at the same time as Mercury. All good, boss. All good. Mercury's a very intelligent guy. I'll take zero offense for you picking Mercury. Stocks a nice hedge against your trading. Yeah. Stocks and rocks, crypto. Fair. I agree. Dude, zero argument on my end. Stocks ripping straight up. Crypto's not. Hey Doc, where'd your bullish idea get invalidated close before 86K? I'll explain that in a minute. I don't care about closes too much often. It's more about a flow argument below or at certain levels. It's not going to be how a candle closed. I will get back into it. I'm just going to get caught up in chat and then we'll talk about it. Why not buy Google then and sell it when Bitcoin goes to 60K? I mean, it's a completely fair thing. My entire, TradFi account is just sitting in cash. I've taken two massive, a couple, maybe 3 or 4, but two main ones that accounted for the majority of my gains over the past few years. And one of them was buying Coinbase, selling Coinbase, buying Ethereum or the ETH ETF, and then selling the ETH ETF, right? I had a Robinhood trade in there that I completely fumbled. I bought sub 10 and I sold at 30. I made plans. I still have this doodle on my chart of how bad I fumbled this trade, right? I bought down here. I sold into resistance. I made the plan of if we flip this, I'll get back in. I never bought back in, so I completely fumbled the hood play. I got a nice return on it. This entire account, the TradFi account, is, again, just sitting in cash, right? So I 100% can just throw it into an index. I could just throw it in the S&P 500, of course, right? I could throw it in Google. I could throw it in the S&P 500. It's just sitting in cash, right? A lot of people are clowning me for that. A lot of people are like, why isn't Doc buying this or buying that or buying the other thing or whatever? And maybe there's a lot of truth into that, right? Just buy assets, they'll go up. Don't worry about the average entry. Buy good things. Google will go up along a long enough time horizon, right? But I ask myself, it's like, do I want to buy right here on Google, right? Maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down, right? Do I want to buy right here? Okay, what if 3 months from now, Google's just trading in a little bit of a range and it's right here and Bitcoin's at 60K. I've done nothing other than I wanted to click a button and I wanted to buy some Google, and now I have to sell my Google for a loss and I have a little bit less capital. Could the opposite be true and Google's a lot higher and I have more money and I can buy more Bitcoin? Absolutely. Like, both of these things are going to be true. But do I have edge right now trading stocks? Do I want to really lock in right now into trading Google? Or do I say to myself, Doc, your plan for 2026 is to fucking improve your trading to another level, right? We've taken so many leaps in the right direction. Can I take another big leap this year, right? And that's the arc that I'm on. That's what I'm focused on. And all my arc is just sizing. Keep pushing sizing, right? If I'm successful in those endeavors, the trading capital will do a lot into, accumulating even more Bitcoin. Right? So I'd rather do like that. I'm challenging myself of like, Doc, how much capital can you make this year before Bitcoin hits your price targets? If it even does. Maybe Bitcoin doesn't even hit 60K. I don't know. But how much capital can you grow this year from trading to deploy into Bitcoin if and when the time comes? And I'm challenging myself. That's the arc that I'm on. It's a really good question though, Peter. Current thoughts on low time. Let's get into it in a minute. Watch both of you. Nice. What the shitcoin list is? I don't know. People ask for alts. I always respect people's wishes. Sometimes when it's like on-chain stuff, I won't look, but I'll take a look if it's on TradingView. How can you show how to get the 7 and 30-day rolling VWAP? It should be built in here. Rolling VWAP. I think TradingView has one. Is this public? I don't even know if this is public. Right here, rolling VWAP. Click this. It'll be on your chart. Use a fixed time period. You can select. So 7 day. There you go. There's your 7-day rolling. Is this going to work on stocks though? Stocks, because they open and close, I think might be a little bit different. Let's see. Fixed time period, 7 days. It's looking a little funky. Let me go to Bitcoin. There you go. It should be good on Bitcoin. Yeah. Type in 7, type in 30. This is not a real trade. Don't worry about that. In stocks, Oracle look decent here. Good morning. Good morning. I respect the challenge. Nice. Okay. Let's see. All right, what are we talking about? We said invalidation below 86K, right? So let's get into that one. Okay, so the trade that I wanted today coming into the New York session was if we sell off on the New York session, I'm looking for maybe a double bottom at the composite value rate low, right? That's the kind of trade plan that I hit up for Paragon this morning. We got to push upwards. That completely changed everything for me, right? When we're getting an attempted reclaim of our 4-day composite value rate low, that's an opportunity for me to chase some momentum, right? I don't know if this is going to be successful. I don't know if this is going to fail. I have zero clue in what's going to happen here, right? All I know is that if we can hold back into this prior 4-day value, I can chase some momentum and we can look to fill the CME gap above, maybe potentially rotate to the other side of value. So this is the trade that I took this morning. It was basically pull back down underneath composite value rate low, right? Reclaim. My entry was right in here. My invalidation was lose this low. This is my mental invalidation on the trade. So this is kind of the trade plans of how this looked right here. TP at the CME gap and above. We got a couple candle pushes. I took some profits out right here. This thing retraced the entire high impulsive move. So what causes this impulsive move was just a bunch of shorts closing. When we're retracing the effort, so when GigaChads say basically, pay attention to this point, guys, because it's going to basically explain to you how I'm going to see the 86K invalidation, right? When people put in
a lot of directional effort, and we do not see price continuing in that directional effort. Now, this is not people buying, it's a short closing, right? But nonetheless, it is directional effort, right? It is strong momentum in a single direction caused by maybe one or two or three entities, right? Who knows how many people are a part of this move. When those moves retrace, that is bearish to me, right? That is not what I want to see. I want to see momentum continue in that direction, right? I'm going to give you another example from over the weekend, trade that I took yesterday, right? I took a bunch of these trades yesterday. But when I see strong effort coming into the lows, right? Strong effort coming into the lows. Here's another example. Here's one example of the actual bottom that formed, right? And I see price retracing all of these moves and going sideways and going sideways. That is an opportunity for me to bet on reversion. I'm saying the people and the effort and the momentum and everything that's coming into these lows, all this volume that's coming in is unable to break us down. Therefore, it allows for an opportunity reversion to the other side. Now, what happens if you get directional effort and those entries are not revisited, right? We get directional effort between a level or through a level right here, right? Let's say we go to 86K. We get directional effort through this level, right? And when we pull back, we're defending all of those opens. Maybe it's open interest, maybe it's people shorting into the lows, maybe it's people spot selling, whatever that effort may be, longs puking, right? And we don't get that reversion, we don't get that momentum loss, and all that effort is being rewarded. That is the invalidation on the idea. That's telling you we're probably going to continue downwards. So TLDR of this, right? It's going to be a flow-based argument. It's basically going to say some entity is pushing price directionally. Are they doing a good job at pushing that price in that direction? Are they being rewarded for that effort? If they are being rewarded, continue betting in that direction. If they're not being rewarded, counter trade them, right? So you can take this game plan however you like, right? Let's say you're short biased, right? And you say, okay, I'm going to short if people come in, they hammer through this resistance and they get rewarded for that effort. I'm going to join that party. You can take the other side. You can say, I'm not going to short, but I want a long, right? We're at a discount region. I'm going to say, are they going to fail, right? Like something like this. And say, hey, they're putting directional effort in the lows. They're failing. Therefore, we're getting some momentum loss in this direction. Maybe we break some low time frame levels. Maybe we rotate back into daily value. Okay, I'm going to take the counterparty trade and look for the reversion to the upside. So the way that you frame your trades is going to depend on basically your bias for the day or whatever, right? I'm going to give you a good example. I came into the day, I said, I want to long this level right here. I was hoping when we got the New York session puke, okay, hopefully this puke's lower. Psych, nope. New York session wanted to pump upwards, right? We got a micro puke. We got a micro puke at New York session and we sent. I was not long for this leg. I was not long for this pullback. When we started showing the opportunity to say, hey, maybe, right? This is a bunch of resistance. We're getting directional effort through this resistance or through this level, and it's happening with a lot of intensity and effort. If that effort is being rewarded, I will stay in the trade. If that effort starts unwinding and those positions go underwater, or that effort is not being continued, or we get no initiation, we get no spot buying, we don't get any sort of that flow carrying me through this level, I do not want to be in this position. So I can, in Silico's on my laptop, if you'd like, I can show you guys the execution arrows. One of my TPs was right here. The other one was right here. So almost a full round trip, right? Entry, exit, right? Didn't really amount to much. One TP, round trip on the rest. This thing got obliterated, right? Initial idea was do not retrace to here. Once we get this effort move, when I know that people are failing at the extremities of price, this 2 standard deviation value area high, this is our 4-day composite value area low, and we're not able to accept back in these regions, I'm wrong on the idea. So flip this chart. This is your idea for that 86K, right? Just take the same exact concept. If we break down and there's effort into the breakdown, you can continue playing through that effort. If that effort goes unrewarded, you understand that we'll likely revert in the opposite direction. This is how I play through levels. My invalidations are always like rolling invalidations. You can have a mental one, like I had drawn on here when I got into this chart of like, don't lose this low, right? That could be your mental invalidation of like, my trade's completely wrong if this happens. But as the trade progresses, based on how participants are, actioning their trades, how, orders are hitting liquidity, how people are opening or closing positions, you can change your trade thesis and say, actually, this is not going to work out for me. Right? I don't need to take a full L. I can just close this position. This is how I trade.
How do you divide your charts in 2 time frames and save it for the open up with the custom indicators? Right here. Right, so you can have 1, 2. You can split it, horizontally. You can split it vertically. You can have multiple charts. You can have like 16 charts if you want. And then, just customize this however you want. Click on the left one, click settings, change however you like, put the indicators however you like. Then all you got to do is click this button here and it opens this one to full. Click this button here, opens this one to full. Did we learn something on what I just said, right? I said this to you guys last week, or the last time I streamed, is when I get low viewer counts on the public streams, I feel like rewarding the people that are here during the bad times. You guys deserve more. You guys deserve more than people that only show up in the good times. You guys remember last year when markets are good and we're going up and there's 200 people here in the stream, people had asked me low time frame trading questions. I didn't answer at all. Right? They're tourists. They're only here in the good times, dude. Screw them. They'll be back though when times are good again, right? To buy the top and get wrecked and then cry at the bottoms. What about ETHBTC? I think ETHBTC has looked okay for a long time now. Like, since November, I think ETHBTC has been looking good. Like, multiple months, right? So, I gave you guys this plan a long time ago. I was actually very bullish on ETH before 1010 and stuff because of the ETHBTC picture, right? You break a long-standing 2-year downtrend. We break and slam right through it. We get multiple weeks of, obviously bleeding out. This is your demand block. This is your weekly trend. I think you had like a yearly value area high or something like that here as well, right? Previous year's value. This is the region where I wanted to see ETHBTC bottom out, right? You bottom out here, we can pump a little bit higher. It hasn't really amounted to anything. It's just crabbing sideways. It's not doing much. But, there's optimism on ETHBTC for me for sure. Like, we're respecting this level tremendously. I basically think that if you can get above 35 and hold above 35 on ETHBTC, it leads to maybe some drastic ETHBTC outperformance. Why? This is previous year's value, right? We're contained within previous year's value area high. You get and hold above this region, right? This becomes your same kind of order flow argument. Can you do order flow on ETHBTC? No, you can just do it on ETH itself or Bitcoin itself, right? You can get, okay, Bitcoin looks strong, Bitcoin looks good, Bitcoin's breaking through resistance, ETH looks good, ETH breaking through resistance. I'm going to take the bet on ETH because ETHBTC is breaking through here. It's the same level-based argument that I just yapped about. No need to sneak diss me. I'm not a tourist. This is my job now. Let's go, baby. Welcome. You are not specific about rewarded push. Give real data how you decided if that is rewarded or not. Okay. What is effort? What is effort? Right? Let's break this down. When I say effort, let me go on a dark chart so I don't blind you guys. I'm going to come back to the light chart, so prepare your eyes later. What is effort, right? Effort is either buying or selling in a direction, right? I am buying head over heels this asset, right? That is effort being put into price, right? I'm eating into the asks, right? Someone placed an ask right above price. I'm buying through it, right? That's effort coming in. When we say rewarded or unrewarded, it is a local battle between aggressive buyers or aggressive participants and passive participants or counter participants, right? So you got 3 types, right? You got your active bidders, you got your active sellers, right? We'll draw it like this. Here's a battlefield, make it thicker, right? Here's one side, here's the other side, right? Here's your battlefield. Your battlefield is your level, right? Your VWAP, your EMA, your SR region, your order block, your whatever the fuck, right? This is the level that you're working with. This is the battle, right? You've got multiple types of participants here. You're going to have the you're going to have the passive bidders. You're going to have the passive asks. You're going to have the active bidders. You're going to have the active sellers. The war happens through this interaction, right?
You can view this through Aggr, you can view this through open interest, you can view this through volume delta, you can view this through market monkey terminal order book liquidity. The interaction of all these things is how we determine who's putting in the effort, right? Is it the bidders that are trying to buy through the ask walls, right? Is it the sellers that are selling into passive bidders? Are there active bidders and active sellers canceling each other out, right? Who is the aggressive party? So if I say to myself, okay, Coinbase spot is buying. They're buying a fuck ton, right? And maybe Nance perps are buying and they're buying on the tail end of it, but they're being supported by spot. And I see asks in this region and I say, okay, the Coinbase chads are just buying right through them, right? The effort started coming in over here. The effort continued through here. Now I say, okay, the Coinbase spot TWAP ended, right? They're done. They're no longer buying anymore. And now the perp chads are going crazy. And I say, where did the perp chads start going crazy? They started going crazy right here. They're no longer being supported by spot. The perp chads are now going crazy. And if the perp buyers start going underwater, that is their latest effort being unrewarded. They're unable to stay above water. Their average cost basis has gone underwater. Their effort was unrewarded. They ran into passive supply or counterparty traders that were overwhelming the demand or overwhelming the bid, and now you've put the active participants underwater. This is an example of effort being rewarded. This is an example of effort being unrewarded. If you want me to go through every single thing, such as Aggr and MMT and everything like that, I'm not going to do that for you. I'm not going to make this an hour-long lesson on Orderflow 101 and all the tools and how we're going to read Aggr and how we're going to read delta histograms and how we're going to read open interest changes and how we're going to read volume delta, right? But I'm going to give you an example of understanding how we're going to trade through levels, right? You want all that? Come to Paragon. We got videos. We talk about it every week, right? We talk about active trading every single week in there. Can't give everything out for free, can we? But even this is more than I've ever shared on the public stream, right? This is just simple order flow 101. And what is the point of order flow? The point of order flow is to simply ask yourself, who is moving the market? And are they doing a good job at it? And that whole understanding of that based on whatever, you can use Footprint, you can use DOM, there's a bunch of tools that you can use to read these flows, right? You can use whatever tool you feel like. There's a bunch of ways to skin a cat, right? As they say. Your objective is to create trade opportunities within that context of understanding X participant is being aggressive, Y participant is actually winning though. That's absorption, right? Or exhaustion, right? One participant is being ultra aggressive into the lows. They're selling heaps and loads of Bitcoin. Now they've stopped. That's exhaustion. They've run out of coins to sell, right? They're continuing to sell. Their largest sells of the day are not moving price, right? They're selling a little bit, sold 20 Bitcoin, sold 20 Bitcoin, sold 20 Bitcoin, sold 20 Bitcoin, and now they sold 100 Bitcoin, and now they sold 200 Bitcoin, and now they sold 200 Bitcoin, right? This is effort being rewarded. This effort is starting to round off. Their sells are getting heavier and heavier. Are they doing the same amount to price? No, they're starting to round off and hit the same level again and again and again. They're being absorbed a little bit. Maybe we're getting a selling climax into a level where they're no longer able to be successful and trade through that level. This was taking a little bit of liquidity and a little bit of effort to move price tremendously. This is a lot of effort at a singular level, unable to move price lower, right? Oh, counterparties kicked in and now we've got people bidding. Okay, that's fantastic. Where's that bid coming from? Is it spot or is it perps? It's spot. Okay, fantastic. They're taking supply off the market for an extended period of time. They're probably not going to puke their position in 10 minutes. Whatever spot they bought, they're probably going to hold on to for a little bit of time. Oh, it's perps? Okay, that may work out, but if those perps go underwater in the next 20, 30 minutes, it's a very strong opportunity for them to just say, fuck this, I'll try again later in 20 minutes, right? So active buyers can be forced sellers. These are the things you look at when you're basically diagnosing what's happening at a certain level. Do you try to take trades every day you're on the terminal? I've been struggling to find trades regularly. Maybe I should really dive into lower time frames to develop scalping strategy. I mean, it varies so much for me. I don't have like a standard model of like, I'm going to take 1 trade per day. I'm going to take 10 per day. Some days I trade a lot. Some days I don't trade at all. Some days I make a game plan to trade X, Y, and Z, and I get something else, right? Like this morning, right? I made a game plan for something else. I ended up taking a little bit of a scalp that didn't really amount to much. Yes, I sold near the top of this bounce, but I round tripped a good amount of the rest of the long. Was this the most banger trade of all time for $500? No. $600? Not really. But it's still money in the bank, right? And that's just how I trade. I see a decent opportunity. I tell myself I'm wrong if X and Y occurs, and I can manage my risk within that. That's it. I'm gonna send the trade. Yeah, if you want to take more trades per day, you have 2 options. Either trade lower time frames or trade more assets. And I recommend lower time frames. What's the indicator on the gray chart at the bottom of the screen? This one? This is open interest. This is volume delta, buy, sell volume. Yeah. Daily VWAP or weekly. So since we are in the first day of the trading week, this is both the daily and the weekly, right? We don't have enough data to have a multi-day weekly, so the daily is the weekly. So if we zoom out a little bit, you'll see the red one, very faint right here. 2 standard deviation weekly value area high, 1 standard deviation weekly value area high, weekly VWAP, 1 SDVAL, 2 SDVAL, and then the blue one is your daily. If I zoom out a little bit more, it might even get more clear. There you go. There's your dailies. This big guy is your weekly. Okay. So we explained a lot. Now, what am I looking at, right? As a local bull, right? Why am I a local bull? Because I believe that we're in a range-bound environment, and we've traded to the discount region. Right? What is the discount region? I've explained it multiple times on the stream already. The 10-week value area low, right? 10-week composite value area low, just using fixed range volume profile. You don't need to use TPO. You don't need to get that fancy with it. They basically do the same thing. Magus is in chat, so he will agree with me. He says this all the time, levels are memes, right? So does it matter if my level is 92.9 or 93 on TPO? It doesn't really matter. I understand that we're either in a discount region or premium region, right? If we're in a discount region, we're looking for people who are being aggressive, just like you guys all are aware of. Hey, idiots are longing the top, right? Price is going to nuke. People are shorting the bottom, price is going to nuke. That's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but essentially that's what we are doing, right? We're saying if effort is coming in at these lows and they're failing, we can revert. If effort is coming at the highs and they're failing, we can revert. If we drop back into value, we can probably revert to the other side of value. If we fail to hold below value and we drop back into value, we can trade to the other side of the value, right? Ping pong. That's all we're doing, right? That was the same thesis when I came back from vacation from Japan and I saw price just hanging at value area low. A lot of people saying this whole thing's going to break down. It looks like shit. Psych. Yearly open ripper, right? We built another composite value. We traded outside of it. Psych, another ripper, right? First test, best test of the weekly. We understand that that's the best opportunity to, directionally trade. This is where we sell the spot. We trade back to the composite value area low. This is where we rebuy the spot. Do you ever trade from your phone? So funny. I'm going to give you a little backstory on this. I used to, and then I found that I am really stupid when I trade on my phone. I'm talking about 2023, maybe even some part of 2024. So I made a rule for myself: no phone trades ever allowed. Nowadays I do sometimes, just because I've done enough of the prep work. So let me say this way: back in the day when I used to trade on my phone, they were undisciplined trades. They were like just FOMO trades and let me get into this. Oh, let me not look at the charts and let me just lazily take this trade. Nowadays, if I take a phone trade, it's a well thought out trade in the first place. And if I just execute on my phone, if I just happen to execute on my phone, I execute on my phone. It doesn't really matter. I wanted to know if you're using Weekly or daily to scalp? I scalp around both. Mainly the daily, but the weekly is a big part of my trading as well. I'm new here. Do you have all the prerequisite tutorials and indicators in your Discord? All the indicators are there. I have, low time frame trading 101. Magus has got infinite videos. I hit up Nelly, who was in chat earlier, to help me out because I'm going to redo all of my education based, top to bottom on low time frame. I haven't really used price action or EMAs that much in the past 18 months. Summer 2024 is my origin story of low time frame trading. That's really all I did in summer 2024. Put that to work end of 2024, early 2025, and that's pretty much all I've been doing for the past year. So 16 of the last 24 months I've just been scalping 1 minute charts. It's about time that I have like a full top to bottom boot camp on it. But you can ask students that are here in chat from Paragon. 4 or 5 of them are in here about how good the low time frame tutorial or systems video is and how many people have gotten their start just based on that one video alone. And then the Paragon streams are probably where you're going to get your biggest level up. We go hard in the paint in the Paragon streams. Myself, when I was a student in Paragon before I became kind of a mentor, analyst, trader, whatever you want to call it, I learned the most from Magus and Charlie on their weekly Paragon streams. You get like basically their undivided attention. Ask any question you want, and no one's gonna stop. They're not gonna stop talking until you understand the concept, right? Myself included. When you come to my streams and you come prepared with good questions, boy, are we gonna have a good session. Also, just watch the old streams too. What are the best resources for tracking OI? Is a good way in TradingView? Just open interest in TradingView. There's 3 that are pretty good. Like let me see this one. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the exact same as the one we have. I don't think it's going to be any different. Oh, maybe not. Wait, doesn't what's his name? Byzantine? What's his name? Have a good one? This one? Maybe this isn't. Oh, it's ETH. Wow. I don't know, dude. I wouldn't fuck with this one or the other one. Our Paragon open interest rate is sweet as banger. Let's see. Maybe Leviathans? 6.5K. This one has to be good, right? Okay, there you go. The Leviathan one. Should have joined. All good, boss. Fallis is a really cool dude. Do not fault you at all. We love Fallis. Thanks for doing that. What did you feel when you make your first 100K after much trial and error? To be honest, I don't think I was that euphoric at 100, and honestly I kind of like blew past it really quickly. It was really the first like 20 to 30 that made me euphoric. Like the early days, that was more euphoric than 100. I didn't really have like a mental thing at 100, to be honest. I was more euphoric doubling a 2K account back in 2022 than I was hitting 100K, because doubling the 2K account meant that I could fucking do this. It was like, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. I can trade. I know how to trade. I just traded the worst conditions out here. Everyone's complaining about this. Everyone's complaining about this choppy price action. You guys think it's choppy now? Trade this. This is every other day. Every other day. Just up and down. Every other day. Try trading this and these wicks, right? Compared to this, we have it good now. Compared to FTX, we have it good now. When I doubled my account in first time doing it, not my first account, but my first time doing it back in 2022, when we hit profitability, somewhere in here, it was like October of 2022. That was the most euphoric the most euphoric I've ever been in my career was when Pepe got listed on Coinbase. I was literally fucking shaking that day. Nothing is going to compare to that. I don't think I'll ever feel that again. That felt like my, Will Smith at the Pursuit of Happiness moment. That felt like winning that day. But no, I didn't really have like a crazy emotional reaction to 100K. Please let us know when you find the next swing long trade like Pepe or Sol. I will, dude. I of course will, because I'm going to be talking about on CT how many tweets that I have on Solana and Pepe down here that no one really cared about back then. But when I do it, I'll share, of course. It's not going to be like a hidden thing. What is the best way to see if a move is driven by perps or spot? Agger. IMO. You look over here. Agger templates do, in my opinion, the best. There's like a cheat way to do it here on MMT with their kind of like aggregated flows. You can kind of just see, okay, this candle was a strong spot, this one was strong perp, strong spot. Like you could kind of differentiate it. Go to lower time frames. This is on the 1 hour, doing the lower time frames. It'll just aggregate everything on there, but I like Agger. What platform do you trade Bitcoin on? A bunch. I got mainly Bybit. I've been trading on Variational a lot since November. I haven't traded on Variational in like a week and a half or something like that. But I traded a good amount on Variational, farmed some points. You guys saw the P&L curve that I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago. I think like 39R up on that account. That was really it. Respectfully, Doc, I think your trading has gone more sloppy since the ARC Raiders arc. I think old Doc wouldn't have round-tripped along. I definitely would have. There's two ways to play things, Livid. There's two ways to play a trade like this. Number one, I came in this morning. This is not a trade that I planned, right? Yesterday, I was long from lows. These are the two trades I took yesterday. I took a trade from here. I also round-tripped this one, right? I longed here on this massive 4K contract 1 minute candle, right? Massive candle down. Longed here, really good entry. You guys saw it in Paragon. TP'd into the point of breakdown right when we got out the area of effort was retraced. 50% TP. What do I always talk about? If this shit starts rounding over, we cut the rest of it, right? So we did a roundy here too, right? 50% TP, roundy, saved ourselves from a full stop, okay? Now we wait for momentum loss. Eventually we start getting these signs, big push upwards, momentum stopping here. This is where okay. I'm not even showing you guys the right screen. I apologize, right? This is the first trade of yesterday. Big 4K contracts traded into the lows, into the point of interest, into the composite value area low, 50% off at the highs. We start rounding over. We eject. We yeet the rest. We get another massive climax candle. This is when I start calling out the rounding at the lows, multiple hours of rounding at the lows. This is where we get optimistic, take the next long, leave our stop at the lows, go to sleep, wake up this morning, New York session. I do not want to be long in New York session. Market close, doesn't matter where price is. I think I literally closed the bottom of one of these things. It doesn't really matter. Did not close the top. Did not catch this on that long. Full closed. Expected this low, right? Wanted this trade. This is the trade that I wanted going into today. Was a New York Open pullback. Didn't get the pullback. Took a trade basically chasing momentum that we talked about kind of in the moment. If we're going to trade back into the old composite, then we chase that momentum towards the CME and the composite value area high. Once I see that effort retracing, that's it. We eject out of the trade. I'm not going to, take a full stop in this location. I'm not going to just blindly hold and hope the market gods, just take my trade in the right way. I'm still happy with the little scalp that I got off a trade that I didn't plan going into today. Right? So I don't think there's anything that could have done better or different. The other thing could just be full fucking eject out of here, but there's no reason to full eject out of here. There's more of a reason to eject out of here when we start retracing the entirety of the move. There's no reason for me to do that at this location, right? Let's do another hypothetical. Let's say I full eject out of here without any additional information. Like, I don't know this is retracing. I don't know people are not going to chase this bid. I don't see any buyers coming in. I'm just full optimistic, and I'm saying everything's on my side, and whatever, right? And then I go, no, we're at the 2 standard deviation value very high. I'm full ejecting, right? I don't know what's going to follow. Let's say the opposite thing happens, right? And now I judge my trade in reverse, and I say, oh, why did I eject outwards fully? I should have just taken partials and left runners, right? So we don't want to judge our trade by the outcome. We just want to judge our trades based on our action. Our actions. How do I phrase this? Our actions in response to the data we're given, right? So without knowing anything, I'm just making predictive moves rather than like reacting to the information given to me. But I mean, I'm glad you're saying that. Speak your mind. Which EMAs do you use and find more useful? There's a thing in the chat. I'm gonna hit it for you. ! Trend. Charlie Paragon Street versus Charlie Twitter, not a bigger gap anywhere else in the universe. I 100% agree. There's Twitter Charlie is not real Charlie. Twitter Charlie is like just post memes pretty much, and then occasionally flex that he's 50 times better trader than you. Do you frequently post on MHC? Not really. Why do you have volume profile set from this price? Which one are we talking about? This one? This is a directional move. Directional move, consolidation. Directional move, consolidation. I always start fixed range volume profiles where I think there is a trend climax and the start of compression, to see that within the context of the current chop, where is the market deeming premium and what is the market deeming a discount. Do we need to take an MMT subscription if we join Porygon? No, not at all. Kiyotaka's free. Use Kiyotaka. Leviathan, yeah, good call, good call. You can use ATOS. Yeah, Magus has tutorials on ATOS. I think that's free as well. ETHBTC. We talked about ETHBTC. I look at the NPCs on Twitter telling me to do and do the opposite, and suddenly I'm so much better. That's funny. Top 3 books that you've read really helped become who you are today in terms of trading. In terms of trading, there's only one book I recommend. Do not read any books on trading. I think they're all a big waste of time. You learn more from doing than reading. And the book that I'm going to recommend is exactly that. It's called Skin in the Game. What is the author's name? Nassim Taleb, I think. This guy hates Bitcoin, by the way, but he wrote a really, really good book called Skin in the Game. And what this book basically talks about is how people who spend too much time reading do not excel and do not impact the world as the same amount, or do not impact the world the same amount as people who actually do and tinker and try and fail. Get your skin in the game. Start actually clicking buttons and trading and build a system and gather data and get shit wrong. Rather than, let me read this book will tell me what to do. I don't believe in that. There's a lot of traders that will disagree with me that I respect. There's a lot of traders that I respect that read tons. They read blogs and everything like that. I think you need skin in the game. I think you learn and you do, and you learn and you do, right? Just sitting there reading 3 or 4 books is not going to make you a good trader. And all of the core lessons from these books, guys, are repeated in concise form on my streams, on Mag streams, on Exo streams. You'll get them on Twitter. You'll get them from Charlie streams. All the trite axioms that have been spoken by all the traders, those are the core lessons in these books to begin with. You don't need chapters and chapters to teach you, buy low, sell high or whatever. You don't need a book on TA. You don't need a book on risk management. Classic, we can't see your screen, but I know where you longed. Dude, that was actually a funny interaction yesterday because Livid in chat was literally, he drew this. He drew my arrows and he was like, hold on, should I just show them? I thought that shit was funny. I'm not gonna be able to find it, am I? What did I say to you? I said good student? That's how I'll find it. There we go, I found it. Autism brain, dude. Livid posts this. Enter on deviation 50% on to sit in the trade more comfortably. And like, was it literally 1 minute later, he understood the assignment. Long, take profits into the point of breakdown, sit here more comfortably. When it starts rounding off and not pumping through, you eject the rest of the position. Hey Doc, do we see another high in Bitcoin in November? I have no idea. I can't predict. I'm not a predictor. You got to ask other people with their crystal balls and their moon cycles to predict things. I'm just going to say no based on the high time frame trend and data. When you deposit a new platform, do you risk per trade accordingly to your overall port, according to your deposit amount, overall port? My sizing is standard. I don't believe in this 1R, 2R bullshit kind of thing. My thing is size. Like, I'm going to take the same trade. Basically, I think of it this way. I think in terms of BTC. So I trade Bitcoin. So I trade 1 Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin or 3 Bitcoin or 4 Bitcoin or 5 Bitcoin. I don't care how far my invalidation is away from price. I don't care how far my TP is away from price. Right? I'm not trying to take a 2R trade and then adjust my size accordingly to fit the stop loss so that my risk per trade is 1% of the account. I don't trade like that. I'm going to allow more variance in my trading, meaning sometimes my stops are going to be 1R, sometimes my stops are going to be 2R, sometimes my stops are going to be 3R, sometimes my trades are going to be 20R, sometimes my trades are going to be 4R, right? It's all going to be the same sizing regardless. Blind spots? No, it's good, man. It's good. Celeb Goat, even though he blocked me, I think I'm blocked from there as well. Is there any moment that you thought about quitting and what kept you going? I haven't thought about quitting ever, but there's been moments where I get very stressed on like, this is a moment in 2023 and even in 2024. So we were like in spring of 2024, I believe. And I thought about it to myself, I'm doing fantastic. All my numbers are up. I'm at portfolio all-time high. I literally did the hero ball play of selling Pepe at the highs, buying it back 60% lower, compounding it to another 3x. Like, I was God mode, right? And somewhere in like summer, right? I literally did this. I sold here, I bought here, I sold here, right? After buying and accumulating this whole thing. Unbelievable runner for me. This summer I talked to you guys about, I spent most of the summer low time frame trading, right? Why did I do that? Why when I was off, like coming off a mental high, ego through the roof, euphoric, all these kind of things, did I focus on low time frame trading in this region? Because I was thinking to myself, a big concern of like, well, Doc, what if you're just ripping all these dollars because you're in a bull market? What if you're only good at trading a bull market? What if you spent the last 2-3 years, which is wise, expecting a trending market on BTC, expecting new all-time highs, expecting 4-year cycle, expecting this, and all you did was learn how to trade crypto in an uptrend? What if that's all you're good at? What if all you're good at is the EMA system? What if we don't have daily trends anymore in crypto? What if we don't have weekly trends? What if we don't have multi-year bull markets? What if this all goes to zero? Can you still trade? Can you provide for a family? Can you make a doctor's salary that you gave up medical career? Can I make $500,000 a year every year until the day I retire? So those thoughts started coming in my mind. And I started really thinking about that and stressing about that in here. And I said to myself, okay, prove it. Prove it. Go back. You went from being a pure trader to a half trader, half positional trader to a full positional trader. Go back to being a trader. Right? And this time around, I said to myself, I'm not going to trade 4-hour charts and wait like fucking, a day and a half for a trigger on multiple assets and they come at 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's just trade low time frames, right? So there's been stressors, but it's not been like quitting. It's not been like, holy shit, I can't do this. I need to quit, right? All of this was like false. Half of this was false sense of confidence because we're in a bull market. Oh, I know what I'm doing. This was humbling reality of, holy shit, you don't know how to trade. You just got carried by a bull market. And then let's learn how to trade, and this is fucking hard, and I'm getting this wrong, and I'm getting my ass beat, and holy shit, there's 3AC, and there's Luna, and there's FTX, and it's back to back to back, and we're losing this level, and losing this level, and this is not the bottom, and this is not the bottom, this is not capitulation, and this is this, and this is that. And holy shit, inflation prints, and CPI prints, and FOMC prints, and Dalai Lamas, and Darth Maul candles. I had to learn all of this through this moment, and this is hard, and this is stressful. But we figured it out. I was just like, reduce unforced errors. This one trade keeps working. Let's just do this one trade. Let's not worry about anything else. What is in your control? Okay, you copy traded someone, you lost money. Let's not do that. Okay, you took this trade that you don't normally trade. Let's not do that, right? Let's cut out all the enforced errors from the trading. Just focus on the one thing that you do well. So it was just like progression, man. Naval said, reading is faster than listening. Doing is faster than watching. Doing is faster than watching is amazing. Livid is a good student. Well, that's because I missed the trade, so I had to think about what to do if I were in. Yeah. Click the buttons, bro. Click the buttons. Holy shit, you guys are bringing the Paragon autism into the public chat, huh? Good morning, Nick. Good morning, good morning. I don't follow. How do you choose size per trade when you're not sure about how much you're risking? I'm fixed size. I don't give a shit. I'm a fixed size trader. I'm going to trade the exact same size every single trade, regardless of where I'm mentally wrong. I don't use this tool on my tradings. This is a representation of an idea for me. It's not an actual trade. I'm not actually going into the terminal and placing a hard stop right here, and this is my entry, and this is my take profit, and I calculate, okay, if price goes up to here, I make $5,000. If price goes down to here, I lose $1,000, right? I'm willing to lose $2,000 per trade. That means that I have to long 2 Bitcoin. Okay, that's my sizing for my trade. It's 2 Bitcoin. Do not trade like that. I will trade 2 Bitcoin or 3 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin every single trade. Some trades are going to look like this. Some trades are going to look like this. Some trades are going to look like this. It doesn't really matter to me. I will accept that variance. I'm not going to go and calculate every single day how much risk per trade. And this is what I'm doing after I've amassed some capital. Obviously, when you're early in your journey and you have zero capital and you're like have to be very protective of it, continue risking 1R or 1% of your total overall net worth or whatever it may be per trade, right? The longer and longer and longer you're in here, right? All your capital is split across different assets. You got a house, you own a house, that's equity, right? You got money in the bank, you got a TradFi portfolio, you got a shitcoin portfolio, you got a trading account, you got a Bitcoin account, you got cash in the bank, right? It's all split. What kind of mental calculations am I going to do of 1R, 2R, 3R? It doesn't matter anymore to me. Right now it's just fund the account with X amount of dollars, trade the same amount per trade every trade, look to build upon that sizing.
All right, I'm dropping more sauce and leaking some stuff from the intraday system and all this kind of stuff. If you don't mind dropping a like on the stream, maybe a subscription, that'd be great. You don't have to, but it'd be great. After all those years in experience that you have and condition that you're at, what is your future plans for 3 to 5 years, Doc? Let me phrase it this way. I want to trade as long as I am excited to trade. As long as my head is here saying I fucking love this shit. I want to keep getting better. I want to keep learning more. I want to keep challenging myself to make more money, have more audacious goals. As long as I love it, I will be here trading. I will be very blunt. I have fallen out of love with the crypto industry tremendously over the past year, right? The kind of veil of beauty has been removed from crypto for me, right? It's very hard for me to want to believe in any kind of crypto assets. Like we've demolished the kind of reputation of our industry this cycle, in my opinion, with creator coins and all this celebrity coins and Trump and all this stuff. Is very hard, tough pill to swallow, right? I think a lot of people are feeling the same way. But trading Bitcoin, I love that. I'm going to keep doing it. And as long as I wake up every morning excited to trade and excited to look at charts and, oh my God, I can't wait to open up TradingView and let me check prices and let me check game plans. And I can't, okay, we're getting to a level, here we go. And I feel a thrill. Like as long as we're there, I'll be here. Once I fall out of love with it and I become complacent and I'm like, I know everything there is to know and I'm already good and all these young pups in the game don't know shit. And once I start thinking like that, that's the end of my trading career, right? Once I start thinking like that, that means I've basically admitted to myself, I'm done learning, I'm done trying, I know everything, and I'm only going to go downhill from here, right? And that might be the time to pivot to a new thing. I'm no stranger to that. I've changed my course of my career 3 times in my life. I went from tennis player to doctor to trader. I'm fully confident in my ability to pick up a 4th tool, even in my mid-late 30s if I have to, right? The smart thing that I've done with my trading is be pretty responsible with the capital, right? I always think of like, let's say I lose everything in the active trading account. How much money is in the bank? Do I have mortgages covered? How much runway do I have, right? I keep thinking about these things. And that's pretty comfy, right? So, yeah, I when you say 3 to 5 years, I don't really have a 3 to 5 year plan. I have recently started thinking more in dollar amount terms, which is it's something I've never done, right? Coming into crypto, I never said to myself, I want to be worth 8 figures. I just want to be worth 8 figures. I want to buy this mansion. I can't wait to buy a Lamborghini. Like I've never thought like that. That's not how I think. I just want to win, right? I wanted to come here and I prove to myself, right? When I got humbled in December of 2021, the only thing on my mind for weeks and months is this shit's not going to beat me. I'm gonna get good at this. I'm not going to let December 4th, 2021 mark the end of my trading career. Like I took that shit personally. It's the fucking Michael Jordan meme. Like maybe it sounds cringe, but that's where my mindset was after 2 weeks of depression. Like I'll admit that there was 2 weeks where I just laid in bed and went out and I went drinking and I got plastered and I just laid in bed hungover all day for about 2 weeks. I was depressed as shit. I'm not gonna lie about that. But after that, I said to myself, I'm not gonna let this shit beat me, dude. What is your learning after 1010? The core lesson of 1010, it's not the big thing that needs to be unpacked. It's just something I've always known. It's just my discipline slipped a little bit. I said to you guys the entire year, I don't believe in alts. I don't want to buy alts. I don't believe in alts. I don't want to buy alts. And I still got a little suckered into buying some alts. So, any trading losses that I incurred on Bitcoin, that's no stress. That's just it's part of the game. Any capital that I deployed towards altcoins on the perp accounts and stuff like that was pretty much managed. I said to myself, like, I'm going to buy some alts. If I lose some money, it's okay. This is money that I'm okay with losing. But it was a big loss. The only roundabout thing to come to a conclusion after 1010 was, bro, why for the first time in your career or first time in multiple years did you get influenced by other people? And I think a part of that, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I think a part of that is coming here on streams
and being on CT and you know, being in Paragon and being involved with other traders and being kind of in maybe a leadership role or whatever you want to call it, and being asked every day about altcoins, right? It's a little bit difficult. You know, I learned that the hard way. I got influenced, right? All my friends, all my discords, everything that I'm in, talking about this coin and oh, you know, Athena and fundamentals and this fundamentals and this and that, and you get influenced, right? So I'm no, you know, I'm human. I make mistakes. I made a mistake there. That was really the only takeaway, and learn from it. You know, I've never made money. I've never made significant money listening to other people. Not once in my career. All the big gains that I've ever made in my life were my own conviction bets. Pepe, Solana, that's not something I've followed anyone into. All the Bitcoin trades that I've taken, all the other assets that I've bought, they've all been like self-conviction trades. Borrowed conviction trades are never going to work. And this was a borrowed conviction trade that I got destroyed on. Bro had a 2-week hangover, can't drink properly? No. I binge drank for 2 weeks. You guys know that I used to be an alcoholic, right? I am 2 years sober, but I was binge drinking, bro. We'd go out, fucking get plastered, be up till 4 in the morning, sleep until 3 in the afternoon, wake up, hair the dog, get started, get ready, take a shower, drink again. That's what I did. That was end of 2021. My biggest issue is I value too many people's opinions over mine. I try not to do it, but it's almost like an addiction all this time. I'm looking for alpha. I've been trapped in this grave I dug. Bro, everyone starts there. Everyone starts there. Let me tell you something. Never going to make it that way. You are never going to make it that way. Even if you let's say, even if you just say, I'm going to unfollow everyone and I'm just going to follow Doc and I'm just going to listen to his mindset. Guys, last week, right? So look, unless you know what you're doing, you're not going to be able to trade like me, right? So if I give you these plans, so a week ago, right? I didn't stream last week, 2 weeks ago maybe. I don't know when last time I streamed. I don't think I streamed last week. I was looking at this and I was saying, we have 2 plans, right? One is if we round off here at the daily trend composite value area high, we can make another high. We have 2 CME gaps above. We immediately nuked right through it. I did long here. I longed here on this candle. I got stopped out 2 candles later, something like that, overnight, right? I was wrong. Did I hold this drawdown all the way to composite value area? No. I took trades in here. I made it a successful week. I was profitable. But my initial bias was we can hold here. That bias was incorrect. My actual trading did not reflect massive losses. I took a loss in here. I got 2 banger trades back to back last week. Absolute bangers. Longed here, TP'd. Longed here, TP'd. This volatility, unbelievable week, right? So I came out of last week profitable, but if you just listen to me, if you're only face value and you're like, Doc wants to be bullish at the daily trend, I'm going to take a trade at the daily trend, and that's your only trade for the week by listening to what I posted publicly or whatever I said, now you're a loser on the week. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't just follow people's ideas into success. It's not going to work that way. You have to have some idea of self-confidence and knowing what you're doing and planning around trade ideas. It's good to have confluence, right? There's times where I see Mag on the same side of the trade as me and I feel good, or Charlie on the same side of the trade as me, so I feel good. Okay, yeah, I got another Giga Chad on the same side of the trade as me. Great, I'm feeling good about myself. But I'm not going to manage my trades the way they manage their trades, and I'm not expecting them to be influenced by my trade plans, right? None of us are going to be successful that way. Man searches for pleasure when he lacks a purpose. Woo! I have had an addictive personality my whole life. I've been a dopamine chaser. Pretty fun. Let's not get too queer. Bro, alcohol is great. As a former alcoholic, I'm going to tell you, alcohol is fantastic. I just know that I had a problem with it. I started crypto with $100 and I have 42 grand. Good shit. Which is great, as I'm making more money than I would have if I had followed a regular path in my country. For the last 6 months, I'm stuck at 42 grand. That's okay. It's okay. My net worth hasn't really gone up materially in about a year. I haven't really done shit. I made some huge dollars here. Right? I made some huge dollars right here. I traded this well. I lost a lot of money right here. Right? I ended up pretty much around where I'm at. I've spent money. I'm probably like net worth down because I've spent a lot of money in 2025. It's okay. It's okay. I look at this and I say, did I get better? And my answer is yes. I got a lot better. The skill set improved. So I think as long as you're learning, it doesn't matter. Sometimes, it's okay. Sometimes it's okay. Don't stress about that. What is your POIs and how do you define them, Doc? I'm kind of all over the place with POIs, dude. The way that I trade is I just ask myself, what is the market respecting and can I craft a trade idea around this? So when we're in a local composite, I say, okay, we're respecting the local composite. I will respect that. Okay, we're trading within weekly value and we're respecting weekly value area lows. I will respect that. Look at last week. How many? Maybe I'll zoom out a little bit. We're respecting weekly value area lows. Okay, I'll respect that. We're no longer respecting weekly value area lows. Okay, psych. Fuck me then. I'm out. I'm good. Right? I take the information the market's providing me and I trade around those things. End of story. These are the two bangers from last week that I was telling you guys about. So it's not a very strict, we need this, we need X, we need Y, we need Z. It's just I just listen to whatever this shit wants to do and I do that. Let's get some Shiny Rock TA going on, please. No, thank you. No, I joined late. What were the main topics today? Today was a good one to rewatch. Since we have low viewership count, I'm going to make this a thing. As long as my stream is under 100 viewers, I will share more. The minute we start getting back above 100 viewers, I'll start sharing less again. That's how I'm going to determine it. Every week that I'm under 100 viewers, we will share more than normal. Usually happens during the bad times. But yeah, we talked a lot about, order flow concepts and stuff like that. I broke down some trade plans and trade ideas. I did a trade review off a trade that I did this morning, how I longed, where I wanted to take profits, where I took profits, how I round tripped the rest, why I round tripped, why I cut before the stop loss. We did a lot. I think good one to rewatch. Good conversations, good questions today. Did you have any other destructive addictions, and how did you get over alcohol or whatever addiction you had? I had a brief stint with weed when I was younger, early 20s. I was like a pothead for a little bit. This was like after tennis, pre-med school. For me, honestly, guys, it's like usually like hitting a rock bottom. It's like shame, guilt, shame that comes from it. And that's how that's the recovery problem. Both of those times, it was kind of the same thing. I just started feeling like the biggest sack of shit when I was a pothead. And I was like, I don't want to feel like this. I feel like a loser. And the worst part about drugs or alcohol or anything is those feelings of feeling like a loser or whatever feel better when you get high. So you feel like shit, and then you smoke weed, and then you feel better because your brain kind of turns off for a bit. You feel like shit as an alcoholic, you drink, and you forget about it. So it's like it's a propagating problem, it's a wheel of destruction. But yeah, it just came from shame, I guess. This would be the big one. Is there an indicator to show him CME gap? I don't have them publicly, but yes, all these gray candles, these are CME closes. This gray dashed line that you guys could probably barely see on your chart, that's your CME gap, right? So gray candles, CME is closed. We go back to black and white. That's your CME open. It's a little buggy because sometimes new candles print gray, but obviously we know the CME is open. As soon as this candle like is, a couple minutes from now, it'll turn back to black or whatever. Sometimes like the fresh candles do that, so it's a little buggy. But yeah, I have my own CME indicators. Shout out to Emok for building these for me. You don't even need that, dude. Go to the CME chart, highlight where it closed, highlight where it opened. Boom, you got your CME gap. Can't imagine pothead doc? Yeah. It can happen to any of us. All right. I think that'll do it with the stream. We did an hour and a half, but hour and a half of quality. I much prefer these streams, if I'm being honest, where I ask good questions and I have the opportunity to give you guys probably more insightful answers than a stream where everyone just yaps, do altcoins for me, and I throw on some fucking EMAs and horizontal levels and I say here and here, right? Because altcoins are really stupid and low IQ and boring, and all they do is follow Bitcoin anyways, so who gives a shit? And Bitcoin is super fun. I think Bitcoin is super fun. This shit is like a puzzle. This leads the entire market, right? Whatever this guy does, the rest are going to do. You can figure this guy out, dude. That's rewarding. That's dopamine. That's dopamine. Every day I get to come on here and try to solve a little mini puzzle. And being right, whoo, that feels good. Altcoins just being like, oh, this EMA... It's so profitable. It's so profitable to trade altcoins like that. But after a while, like once I've experienced this, it's not the most dopamine inducing. The dopamine you get is just from the money, right? It's not like a puzzle solving adventure. It reminds me of medicine, because a lot of medicine diagnoses is puzzle solving, right? So reading Orderflow is kind of like puzzle solving. It's pretty fun. Good stream. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. If you could leave me a like on your way out, I would appreciate it. I would enjoy it. Maybe a subscription if you haven't subscribed already. Maybe you grab your mom's or your grandma's or your sister's or your cousin's or your dog's or your cat's phone. You subscribe on there too. That would be sick. You think I can get to 7K subscribers before Bitcoin all-time highs? I don't know how we're gonna draw in any new viewers as the market goes down, but it'd be cool. We were talking about sentiment. Let me show you guys one. I think this could be fun, right? Let's do like sentiment checks. We were talking about this earlier in the stream, and I told you guys this is the lowest kind of stream turnout since like 2024, early 2024, and I had like 10,000 followers on Twitter back then, so like very different. And let's see, channel analytics, see live count. Let's go to subscribers. Let's do lifetime. Okay. I'm just gonna screenshot this. Okay, can't be pasted. Okay, let's just go to the left side of the screen then, left monitor. You guys see this? The trajectory has changed. It went from being up only to rounding off. This is the first time since I started YouTube in 2022, 2023 that we have stagnated viewers. If that doesn't give you a sentiment check, I don't know what will. Right? Even through all the dog shit that was 2025, we maintained positivity and growth on the channel. This is the first time that we've seen a drop off, which I find very interesting. I find very, very interesting. We didn't do the charting shit. Next time, my boy. Next time. I'm sorry. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I had fun. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys tune in next week when I stream again. Do me a favor, for all you guys watching, come ready with some questions. Do some homework. Come ready. Like, treat it like class. Come ready.
Bring me some good questions. We'll go over them on stream. It doesn't have to be, Doc, what do you think of Solana here? You know? What do you think of Aster here? What are your thoughts on XPL, right? That stream's fun for no one. Come in here with some good questions. I'll give you some good answers. Hopefully we all learn something, and hopefully you guys end up being fucking gigachads, dude. How did I get my start as a trader? I watched Trader XO streams. I watched ICT videos, dude. I started off just like this, just watching streams, trying to pick up anything I could. Did I miss a trigger? No, I did not. Wow, did this front run me by like $1? Holy. Well, that's a trade missed.